This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin FREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol, live. It's a freaking Friday. Now, I used to turn on the party lights on Friday nights. However, since the cop shootings began again in earnest earlier this year, I've decided it's not a party in the USA. And we don't have the party lights on. I have avoided talking about incidents of police brutality for most of this week. Unfortunately, tonight's show, that's not going to be the case. We're going to catch up on several of the instances. One in New Orleans is particularly appalling. Plus updates on the Kim Potter case. Kyle Rittenhouse was in court today. And the girl we talked to, we watched the video of her escape from a would-be kidnapper. Apparently she used a tactic that she learned on Law & Order SVU. She was on Good Morning America or the Today Show, one of those. We're going to actually hear from that little girl. That's super cool. A couple weeks ago, we did a story about a school bus driver that got hijacked by a soldier in South Carolina. That school bus driver has spoke out. We're going to hear from him. A rather egregious instance of police brutality coming out of Tennessee. It might have been corrections officers in a jail. Perhaps sheriff's deputies. I don't know exactly what organization. All cops are bastards. I don't know exactly which organization it was. We've got footage. It's like you're not going to believe what they said. Plus, we are going to wrap up the week that was in Biden. There are several stories that I didn't feel warranted being talked about throughout the week. And I'm going to lump together in one little, gaffa-fest. A lot of the shit that the right-wingers have been playing on loop, we're going to talk about and address. Oh, also, he spoke about UFOs and K-pop earlier today. We're going to hear about Joe Biden's thoughts on K-pop. I'm sure that's going to be fun. Oh, and breaking news as we are coming on the air, it would appear that Matt Gaetz' ex-girlfriend in the last couple of hours has agreed to cooperate with investigators. Oh my God! How is Matt Gaetz still a congressperson? Oh, but first tonight, I got into a spat this morning with or it might have been late last night, and they had responded when I woke up this morning. It was this "Don't Unfriend Me" podcast. I got an ad for them on Facebook because I don't know if I've ever told you guys this, but Facebook thinks I'm a Republican. I spend all my time arguing with right-wingers, and I made a lot of friends on the local news sections, but the local news just doesn't do it for me. I need a stronger dose of dumbfuckery to just shoot right in my fucking veins. I'm on The Blaze, I'm on Candace Owens, TPUSA. That's where I do my trolling. And it's like me against the world over on those sides. That's the way I feel like fucking Neo. I'll get 10, 15 responses back, and I'll just dodge them all and keep attacking. So Facebook thinks I'm a right winger, so I get a lot of ads, and I interact with a lot of independent content. So I get a lot of these small to medium size right-wing podcasts recommended to me. And one of them was this "Don't Unfriend Me" podcast. Hold on. We're gonna watch a little piece of this. He's got some good graphics. I'll give him that. He probably didn't make. Don't Unfriend Me is a new show that covers a wide range of topics for all to enjoy. Join Navy veteran Matt Spear each day with a new show that promises to be honest, straightforward, and always direct. Just don't unfriend me. Now, he's already blocked me. And Facebook is still showing me his ads. This happens numerous times. I interact with these people. They don't like what I have to say. They block me, cancel culture, immediately. But Facebook still shows them my ads, and I've actually contacted them from like other accounts, because I have multiple accounts. Of course I do. I'm a troll. I've contacted them from like other accounts and been like, hey, you should get together with other people because Facebook is still charging you guys for showing me ads even though you blocked me. Facebook is fucking you over. First of all, you paid to have me troll you, which if you were smart, you would keep letting me troll you. The more people that interact on your content, the more visible you are. So if I'm just responding over and over and over again all day, it actually helps you. You shouldn't have blocked me, but right-wingers are morons. And that's the reason why I go for the hate follows and the hate watches. It doesn't matter if you downvote my shit on YouTube. You're helping me break the algorithm. It doesn't matter if you call me an idiot on YouTube. Please comment on all my shit. But like I saw this guy and I was like, oh, you're trying to play it middle of the road, but I bet you're just, all fucking lefties do this, lefties do that. And that's exactly what he was. So I asked him to come on today and he said that he would. And he kept telling me to send him a link. And I was like, okay, well, here's my YouTube channel. Here's my Twitch. I can send you like a Zoom or a Discord link, like before the show gets started when I've got everybody. Because this was this morning. I'm laying in bed on my fucking phone talking to this motherfucker. And he's like, send me a link, I want to do it now. I'm like, my show is on in 12 hours, dude. I'll send you a link before the show starts. And like, I'm a man of my word, guys. You can see it right here. There is a Zoom link. I would love it if you would join me on my program as you said you would, before calling me a coward and blocking me. So let's check out one of his clips here.
Good evening, dummies. Episode 156, Thursday, May.
Good evening,
20th.
dummies. Starts off by calling his audience dummies. Shit. I can tell you right now, this motherfucker is an absolute moron.
This is the second time I recorded this. I had one last night.
See? It's the second time you recorded this because you're a fucking moron. You don't know what you're doing.
Software, and I'm doing nothing. It's a good show, too. It was one of those shows where you're like, yeah, that was solid. That was great. And then all for naught.
I hope this isn't copyrighted music this motherfucker is playing.
6-3. I was up till almost 2 in the morning. What the fuck is wrong with the NHL? Why would you put...
Hey, if you're staying up until 2 in the morning, how the fuck are you harassing me at like 7?
We're not a Pacific team. I don't understand why we have
Maureen?
Hours, but whatever. It's fine. I don't care.
You cared enough to fucking stay up till 2 o'clock, and now you're talking about it on your show. Jesus.
He was great in last year's playoffs, but he just completely opened up.
Come on, give me some politics shit.
And de Blasio thinking about doing a lottery for people who get the vaccine. Not a lottery to wait in line for the vaccine, but a lottery to give away.
State lottery. It's Cuomo. This is what I did for my freaking news for Patreon followers. For tomorrow, I did that story for tomorrow. Not de Blasio. De Blasio is the mayor of New York City. This dude doesn't even know what the fuck he's talking about.
Writer. I come up with this stuff all on my own, folks. I'll be here.
Yeah, you pulled it right out of your ass.
Tip your waiter. I wish I had the crabs. What are we going to talk about? Well, professors and scientists are now obviously sociological type courses in school and psychology and social justice and women's studies. These are all woke type courses. But now science is becoming woke, where you have to care about animals' feelings. And that the spotted owl might feel oppressed if you call him spotted, or her, or it. I don't want to assume the gender of that lovely, delectable little
Jesus Christ, they have one joke.
Sauce and blue cheese, the spotted owl.
We are
Folks,
4 minutes into this.
We will dive into it. But first, at breakfast, a man asked his wife, "What would you do, honey, if you won the lottery?" And she replied, "I would take half, and then I'd leave you." Says, "Great. I won $12 yesterday. Here's 6. Stay in touch."
Oh, what a funny joke.
Recorded.
I guess the implication is that the woman is the shitty person in that situation.
So sit back, relax. Don't Unfriend Me starts right now.
Car noises, because we're men. This is a testosterone-filled show, because we're men.
Dummies are the Don't Unfriend Me's. Barstool Sports have
Okay. Dummies are the Don't Unfriend Me.
Dummies. We also have dum-dums.
Okay, that's cool.
Dum-dums are a special kind of subject.
That's witty. All right, I'll give them that.
Like dum-dums. But dummies are fantastic. They are really what keep the lights on. My name is Matthew Spear, and welcome to the
He
show.
likes to
Episode 156.
into his microphone.
And I am your
like a
host.
fucking amateur.
And if this is your first time at Don't Unfriend Me, welcome.
It is my first time.
Don't say that, so welcome to the show. And if you are easily
Glad to
offended,
be
this
here.
isn't the show for you.
I'm glad to
I
be
will
here.
bring a balanced.
I am totally not easily offended, but apparently you are, because you blocked me after just a few minutes. Now, you have not responded. You said you'd be on the show here tonight. You kept harassing me for a link. I sent you a link. You are not here, so we are watching your content.
Opinion. I am a Republican, conservative. However, I have voted for Democratic
So
presidents.
you are a fucking moron.
I have a black friend. But no,
I have a black friend, he said.
I'm actually an avid supporter of LGBTQ rights. I think we should just let people be whoever they want to be in their home and just don't force it down my throat, literally. Unless I'm drunk enough. Give me some Barry Manilow, some baby oil, and a back rub.
But yet you're a Republican.
What could happen? Social. You can follow me here on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, on Instagram, and
I tried. You blocked me, motherfucker.
like, share, and follow if you could right here, please, on the red envelope on YouTube. And then when you get to Facebook, do a like, follow. It really helps, folk. It shares the word. That is how you
Blah,
grow.
blah, 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 blah.
It helps your profile and the people who you are friends with.
I've got too much to
this
talk
show.
about
So you could do that.
than to
You
fucking
can't do any of that.
bombard
And you're
you
just, like,
guys with that.
antisocial. That's fine.
That's what mine's like there on the
Website, where you can get
thing.
all of my catalog, my videos, my podcast.
Ah, shit.
everything
Stop
else,
plugging
all at your
yourself.
pleasure.
Get to some content.
Sometimes I slip. I hit the wrong button. I hit the Veteran Crisis Hotline, so that's why you heard it twice. For those not on video, this happens regularly. Like I said, if you're new here, get used to this. This production
Get used
value is
to
just
this
magnifique.
amateur hour.
All right, folks, let's get into it. Tonight, pipeline issues. And we've talked about this.
Ooh,
A
pipeline.
while ago, about a year.
This is that Russian
I talked
pipeline
about the
that's
pipeline
selling
that was going to put Russia
gas
really
to
into
Germany.
a top 2, if not 3, superpower.
I don't really
And that
know
the
the
United
details
States
because
was
it's not
failing
really an
miserably
important
about 4
story,
years
but
ago.
right wingers are
China
making a big deal
was
about it.
overtaking us. And United States was a distant second. Well, Russia was coming up behind, and one of the things that would have caused this to happen was this new pipeline, which would create natural gas, crude oil, sending it basically energy independence for Russia before Donald.
Is it a crude oil pipeline or is it a natural gas pipeline? Do you even know?
Trump was even in office, and this would create a massive influx of billions of dollars into Russia. Well, that all stopped with Donald Trump. Remember the Donald Trump who was Putin's puppet, who put sanctions against Russia, went into Crimea, and actually funded and put foreign countries and foreign UN pressure on Russia. The sanctions alone were massive. And then what he did was something interesting with the world leaders is he went to Germany and put pressure on Germany and said, don't buy any of the oil from Russia. And leaned on them heavily. Now, of course, all those countries said, oh yeah, we're not going to listen to Donald Trump. He's the American president. But they did just that. And he expressed to them that it was in their best interest not to awaken the sleeping bear, so to speak. And obviously, at that point, the United States became energy independent, and we started exporting energy all over the world.
We became energy independent under Obama, by the way. Like, this dude has no fucking clue what he's talking about. And he is a pussy because he's not even responded back to me. He was supposed to be here tonight, but he cowered out. So that is who we were talking about. I don't even remember what the fuck his name was. Don't unfriend me. He's already blocked me. All right, starting off tonight. Israel and Hamas have both claimed victory after the ceasefire that took effect last night while we were on the stream. I want to point out the way Israel was still being very antagonistic less than a day into the ceasefire. This was, I guess it would be yesterday now, in Jerusalem. The Al-Aqsa Mosque. These are Israeli forces storming in, shooting tear gas, rubber bullets at worshipers at a mosque a day after a supposed ceasefire. And once again, this all has to do with Benjamin Netanyahu trying to drum up national fervor in order to remain in power because he was unable to form a coalition government. As we've seen by strong-arm fucking dictators all over the world, anytime you need to stay in power, you just otherize a population and then brutalize them. History repeats itself. In Japan, the COVID-19 crisis continues to rage. The International Olympic Committee is saying that the Tokyo Olympics will take place even if a state of emergency has to be in place because of it. The IOC vice president in charge of the postponed Tokyo Olympics said Friday that the games would open in just over 2 months, even if the city and other parts of Japan were under a state of emergency because of rising COVID-19 cases. John Coates, speaking from Australia in a virtual news conference with Tokyo organizers at the end of 3 days of meetings, said this would be the case even if local medical experts advised against holding the Olympics. Because of course, money matters more than anything. The advice we have from the WHO and all other scientific and medical advice that we have is that all the measures we have outlined, all of those measures that we are undertaking are satisfactory and will ensure a safe and secure games in terms of health. And that's the case whether there is a state of emergency or not. This according to Coates. Public opinion in Japan has been running at 60 to 80% against opening the Olympics on July 23rd, depending on how the question is phrased. Coates suggested public opinion might improve as more Japanese people get fully vaccinated. That figure is at about 2% right now. IOC officials say they expect more than 80% of the residents of the Olympic Village. Now, and this was something that the U.S. could have helped with by releasing the patents for the vaccines. So that India and Taiwan, South Korea, all these places that have the capacity to produce vaccines could have been on it already. Coates said that about 80% of the spots in the Olympics would be awarded from qualifying events and 20% coming from rankings. I don't even know what that is. I'm not a sports guy. I just relay the news. So I'm not going to know shit about the MLB when we talk about this story. The Nationals' Max Scherzer wants MLB to change health and safety protocols in accordance with CDC recommendations. I believe this has to do once again with breakthrough cases where people that have already been vaccinated are testing positive. Washington Nationals right-hander Max Scherzer wants Major League Baseball to alter its COVID-19 health and safety protocols in response to new recommendations made by the United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. We got to update the rules here. We got to follow the science, start listening to what the CDC says. Got to follow the science. Scherzer, the Nationals representative for the MLB Players Association, told reporters, vaccinated players that are testing positive and they're asymptomatic should be allowed to play, plain and simple. And the risk is low that they could transmit it. But once again, if you have something that has an incredibly low risk and you give it lots of chances, you're ensuring that it's going to happen. But you still want to limit exposure. Scherzer's reference to the CDC is ostensibly aimed at a note on the CDC's website that reads, in part, early data shows that vaccines help keep people with no symptoms from spreading COVID-19, but we are learning more as more people get vaccinated. I don't know much about baseball. I like to play it when I was a kid. It can be a fun game to play out like in the field. As long as you keep it moving, goddammit. Scherzer's comments come after the Nationals were forced to play shorthanded following a positive COVID-19 case. Said test resulted in 2 players being sidelined, one who tested positive and another who was deemed in close contact. They'll be told teams in the spring that it would loosen COVID-19 restrictions, including those pertaining to masks, tests, and social gatherings, for all clubs who reach at least an 85% vaccination rate among their Tier 1 individuals. I thought they were like, they had a caste system or something going on, but that means players, coaches, and trainers. The Nationals have not yet reached the 85% threshold. The league announced that 12 of the 30 teams have reached that point. Has the season started? It's already started, hasn't it? I believe they start in late April. Now, Fauci expects COVID-19 vaccines for kids sometime late this year, but we could also see booster shots faster than we were expecting.
Stephanie has been at Children's National for well over 30 years. One of our partners.
Hi, Stephanie. Good to see you.
And how did I not know? My patient that I just vaccinated told me they call it the Fauci ouchie.
The Fauci ouchie.
That is way too played out. Every stupid TV anchor is said that.
Parents of children under the age of 12, when can they expect to maybe get their kids vaccinated?
It's coming soon. We're doing a bunch of studies since children are ones that we want to be especially careful regarding safety, that we're going to be doing age de-escalation studies. We'll go from 12 to 9, then 9 to 6, then 6 to 2, and then 6 months to 2 years. By the end of this calendar year, it's likely that we'll have enough information to vaccinate children of any age.
So there you go. He also, apparently, we don't have footage of it, but he said that it is looking like we will need boosters in about 8 months. So the initial estimation was that if boosters were needed, It would be about a year. Somebody was interviewing him yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, those are two fine-looking people there. I'd jump in that threesome." Okay, so Jen Psaki announces cuts to Biden's infrastructure plan. So this is the first of a bunch of stories we're going to do about Biden looking fucking stupid.
Expectation that there's going to be a conversation of some kind today between Republicans on the Hill, some officials here at the White House about the status of infrastructure and Republican counter-proposal.
Yeah, I'm not high enough for this shit.
Still happening today, and can you give us kind of an update on where things stand and any movement that may or may not be happening?
Sure, it is happening. It may be ongoing as we speak, but it started shortly before 1 o'clock over video conference this afternoon. Our team, including Steve Ricchetti, Louisa Terrell, Brian Deese, Secretary Raimondo, and Secretary Buttigieg, put forward a reasonable counteroffer that reduces the size of the package from 2.25.
Okay, I gotta ask, is your name Wep Loop? Or is it Weep Loop? Weep Loop is hilarious.
$5 trillion in additional investment.
I prefer Weep Loop.
$7 trillion. And in our view, this is.
Or is it a different pronunciation?
I should say,
Did I get it completely wrong?
Common ground. This proposal
It's your
is
name.
Willingness to come down in size, giving on some areas.
I don't want to get
that
it
are
wrong.
important to the president. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been in the proposal. While also staying firm in areas that are most vital to rebuilding our infrastructure and industries of the future, making our workforce and our country more competitive with China. We actually have every intention to share the complete totality of the counterproposal with you all. We'll just wait for the meeting to conclude to do that.
Until then, can you say any more about what was taken out to lower that price tag?
Sure. Let me give you kind of
Originally,
the top line details, and then again,
estimated cost was
what
1.9
very
trillion.
Detailed, so you'll see all the specifics for yourself. But again, I noted the top line number that was offered. Our proposal also involved shifting investments in research and development, supply chains, manufacturing.
Now, anyone that watches this show knows that infrastructure is a huge deal with me. The bridges in this country are fucking dilapidated. We need more than a $1.9 trillion investment in infrastructure in this country. The bridge in Memphis that is shut down. They could see the crack in it 4 years ago. I didn't select the story for tonight. They actually had a fisherman in the river had taken a picture, and you could see the fucking crack in the bridge, and that's 4 years before it was shut down in a panic this week because the entire support beam was severed. I am confident that if most people in this country knew how bad a shape our roads and bridges were, they would be scared to death to drive over the bridges in this country. It freaks me out.
And small business out of the negotiation into other efforts, such as the Endless Frontiers Act and the CHIPS Act, which, as you know, there's ongoing discussions and negotiations on a bipartisan level about those as well. The proposal also agreed to reduce the funding request for broadband to match the Republican offer and to reduce the proposed investment in roads, bridges, and major projects to come closer to the number proposed by the senators. This is all in the spirit of finding common ground. Now, at the same time, as I alluded to, the counteroffer also reflects our view that the Republican offer excludes entirely some proposals that are key to
Who gives a shit about the Republicans?
Key to investments
Once
in clean
again,
energy and industries
the
of the
Republicans
future.
were given everything they wanted in the bipartisan commission and still voted against it. No, we need it. I'm not saying invest in aging infrastructure. I'm saying we need to modernize our infrastructure. I thought many people were seeing the Mothman. I thought that was totally a thing. I'm pretty sure if you Google Mothman, it's all over the internet. Now, people have been seeing some unidentified flying objects. Biden was asked about the recent rash of videos that the Pentagon has confirmed are indeed real. Take it away.
If you're not asking me a mean one like you usually do.
It's something interesting, I think, that's not come up. President Obama says that there is footage and records of objects in the skies, these unidentified aerial phenomenon, and he says we don't know exactly what they are. What do you think that it is?
I would ask him again. Thank you.
Oh, what a bullshit answer. Oh, man. Well, I hope he has more to say about K-pop, because you know K-pop is way more important than aliens.
These new investments are going to create thousands of good-paying jobs and jobs of the future right here in the United States. And they're going to help fortify and secure the supply chains for things like semiconductors and electric batteries. I know, as I said, that the CEOs made the effort not only to do this, but to be here today. And again, I thank them for being here. I thank you for making the investments in our future and yours. Finally, I want to note that yesterday I had the honor of signing into law the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act to help Americans of Asian descent from having to live in fear just walking down the streets of the United States.
We have not gotten to the cops on Ronald Green yet. Boy howdy, do we have so many videos to watch. Ronald Green's the one out of New Orleans, right? Oh my God. We got another one out of Tennessee that's also going to piss you off. Yeah, we're going to get to that.
And there's a long history in this country of contributions of Asian Americans being overlooked, forgotten, and ignored.
This is from a joint press conference he did with President Moon.
What I said yesterday.
South Korea.
We're committing, and we're going to stay committed to stopping the hatred based on this bias. I promise you. Our people share a long history. Our soldiers have fought alongside one another. Our scientists
against the mean communists
side by side in both our countries. Our students study together, share ideas, and seed new opportunities for future collaboration. And our people-to-people and cultural connections are
South Korea is an incredibly Americanized country.
And K-pop fans are universal. Now, I can tell those who laughed know what I'm talking about.
He is correct. I mean, they have political reach, too.
Korean actress took home an Oscar for supporting actors this year, following up on the 4 Oscar wins for the movie Parasite last year. And so our two countries, our two nations.
Parasite was an excellent movie. Anyone who hasn't seen it.
Connections that we need to make even stronger alliances and stronger cooperation.
And I also and
I want to thank
my friend Sparkles didn't want to watch it because I guess from the name Parasite, she thought like it was. I'm like, no, it's a psychological thriller. It's not like anything gross or anything like that. It's a very Sparkles movie, as I told her. I'm not that big of a K-pop fan. Baby Metal's pretty cool. I guess they're K-pop adjacent or whatever. And I like pop music too, so maybe I should give K-pop more of a chance. Now, Biden had some gaffes this week that right-wing media have been all over. As I said, I didn't really want to touch on them because I don't think they're newsworthy, but we're going to put them all in together right now. Oh. Baby Metal's from Japan then. Okay, my bad.
Well, Cadet Tid, there's a seat on Air Force One if you have to get home. It may be tough. I can only assume that you will enjoy educating your family about how the Coast Guard is, quote, the hard nucleus around the Navy forms in times of war. You're a really dull class. I mean, come on, man. Is the sun getting to you?
Come on, man.
I would think you'd have an opportunity when I say that about the Navy to clap, but being here together.
That's kind of affable. I don't think that's much of a gaffe.
is a victory in and of itself.
Notice the way Ryan Fournier frames it. Biden is very upset. Face Biden calling out there. Well, that's not the only time he's done that. There's another one that right-wingers love to bring it up, saying he was mocking the military or something. But if you watch the clip, he announces like a promotion for an officer, and nobody claps. And he's like, clap, you stupid bastards. He's like, but no, really. The military, their honor service, blah, 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 blah. Biden is being blamed for everything. In case you guys haven't, if you don't have any right-wing friends to see on social media, Biden has completely destroyed the country. Everything is 1,000 times more expensive than what it was. There is no Chick-fil-A sauce anymore. Gas prices are going to be $15 by the end of the summer. You wanted $15 an hour, you're going to get $15 a gallon. Has anybody said that? I need to make that t-shirt and market that to right-wingers. They will fucking eat that up. Nobody steal that, goddammit. I'm on video. I can prove it in court. So this actually was a little concerning. Now, the whole press conference, this was about electric cars or some shit. He drove a Ford electric truck.
At 80 miles an hour, you'll see what it is, okay? You ready?
Mr. President, can I ask you a quick question on Israel before you drive away?
No,
since
you
it's so
can't.
important?
Not unless you get in front of the car as I step on it. I'm only teasing. Okay, here we go. You ready?
See it, sir.
So now, like, he's like, I'm only teasing. Like, clearly Biden is teasing. So many times during the Trump administration, Trump said shit that was just awful, and every right-winger was like, oh, you can't take a joke, you can't take a joke. And now Biden is clearly joking, which is still not cool. You should not joke about running over the press. We really should hold them sacred, especially following a norm-breaking administration like Trump. But right-wingers just lose their mind over the stupidest shit. Now this is kind of a funny story, and I've been looking forward to reading it. I'm going to read it here with you guys right now. Apparently, it's come out that Jill Biden said Harris should go fuck herself after the whole debate incident. Yeah, we got the video here. Thank you, New York Post.
I'm going to now direct this at Vice President Biden. I do not believe you are a racist. And I agree with you when you commit yourself to the importance of finding common ground. But I also believe, and it's personal, and I was actually it was hurtful.
So that was the exchange. Jill Biden said Kamala Harris should go fuck herself after famously questioning her husband's record on race during a Democratic primary debate. The future First Lady fumed to supporters after Harris, who is now President Biden's vice president, slammed his record opposing federally mandated interracial busing to desegregate schools. Yeah, that was the that little girl was me comment. Which was good. That comment is probably one of the reasons why he's vice president now. That was one of her shining moments in the primary. Jill Biden vented 1 week later on a group phone call with supporters, according to an account published by Politico. With what he cares about, what he fights for, what he's committed to, you get up there and call him a racist without basis. Go fuck yourself, Jill Biden allegedly said. She seems like such a sweet lady. By the way, content warning, guys. Joe Biden was also furious about the attack. While still on stage during the debate, Biden allegedly turned to fellow candidate Pete Buttigieg and said of Harris's attack, that was some fucking bullshit. Ah, man, the Bidens like to drop some F-bombs. Biden and Harris have worked closely together since taking office. Now, presidents and vice presidents usually don't like each other. George W. Bush, Dick Cheney did not like each other. Obama and Biden don't really like each other. They're political coalitions that have to coalesce in order to be strong enough. So, of course, they're factions that are going to have tension between them. Harris's office did not immediately respond to a request for comment from the Post. A spokesman for Joe Biden said many books will be written on the 2020 campaign with countless retelling of events, some accurate, some inaccurate. First Lady and her team do not plan to comment on any of them. That was an excellent statement. However, apparently Obama is happy to comment. Obama apparently called Donald Trump a fucking lunatic, a madman, a racist, sexist pig. I mean, he ain't wrong. The forthcoming book, Battle for the Soul, Inside the Democrats' Campaign to Defeat Trump, offers a glimpse at former President Barack Obama's real opinions on former President Donald Trump. The book, written by the Atlantic staff, examines how exactly the Democratic Party came to defeat Donald Trump in 2020, including some juicy tidbits about how Obama went off his Republican successor. Here is the excerpt. He's a madman, big donors looking to squeeze a reaction out of him in exchange for the big checks they were writing to his foundation. I didn't think it would be this bad. Sometimes I didn't think we'd have a racist, sexist pig, depending on the outrage of the day. That fucking lunatic with a shake of his head. Obama also had some harsh words for the Tea Party movement, which preceded and galvanized Trump's MAGA presidency. Obama trashed the group at the Obama Foundation's 2017 holiday party in Chicago. Some staff had questioned the former prez about whether it irked him to be labeled anti-capitalist by Republicans. Because he certainly wasn't. Especially considering he bent over backwards to bail out big banks after entering the White House in 2008. It didn't matter what his actual policy was. It never matters what the Democrats' actual policy was, because it is not about policy with Republicans, it's about power. They believe in hierarchies. Everybody else believes in democracy, I think. He was also blamed for 9/11. Right-wingers on, there is footage. You can YouTube that shit on, news shows. Would ask people about it. It's insane. Now, Trump is indeed planning on running again. According to his former doctor and current congressman, Representative Ronnie Jackson. He says he's going to run, so we'll see, Jackson told Business Insider. He's been saying he's going to. He's seriously considering it. He's probably going to, so we'll see what happens. Donald Trump backed Jackson in the 2020 election for the 13th congressional district seat. Jackson added that he hoped Trump would run again for the White House. So do Democrats. And that's the problem, is the Democrats helped foment Trump's run the first time. They thought he was going to be easy to defeat, so they platformed him. I worry that given this from Frank Luntz, that the Democrats may try to do the exact same thing again and let it bite them again. Because if they don't have the right candidate going up against Trump, it will bite them again. Former Republican pollster Frank Luntz tells Kara Swisher on her New York Times podcast that Donald Trump that Donald Trump's lies about the 2020 election could cost the Republicans the majority in the House in 2022. Former president is still the most popular figure in the Republican Party, but his baseless claims about the election have alienated moderates. We see how that's gone. If Donald Trump runs for president as a Republican, he's the odds-on favorite to win the nomination, Luntz added. He could never win a general election, but I can't imagine losing a Republican primary. And that's that sentiment. A Democrat reads this like, ooh, we need to make sure he's the nominee. And get cocky just like they were in 2016. Luntz continued, and I would bet on him losing to whatever Democratic nominee there was. Now, I'm assuming Trump is going to be a non-factor in 2024 for a number of reasons. This is one of them. I think we got the full clip here.
I wanted to start there because I know you had told me
this is the ex-daughter-in-law of the Trump organization CFO.
Willing to pay tuition for this school, not others, just this school. And I know it's a crucial question of what records do you have of Trump himself and Alan Weisselberg making those tuition payments for your kids?
I have records of Donald Trump paying for one of my children's tuition at her private school, and specifically saying in terms of control that they couldn't go to another. It looks like it was compensation, tax benefits to...
Speaking of paying for school, we're going to talk about Matt Gaetz here in a little bit.
And it's basically all about tax strategies.
So that's, I guess, the crucial question, and you're starting to explain it there. I mean, what potential crimes do you understand, Jennifer, at this point that they're focused on with the tuition payments, as an example?
The compensation and gift taxes that were revealed by myself in the day before the election on November 2nd of 2020 have been proven to be true. Compensation and gift taxes for the organization, for Donald Trump himself, and for all the employees.
It's not looking good for the pedo.
And the
the pedo who knocked up a minor? Who's that? Who are you talking about?
Aaron, the gift taxes and compensation have been, proven to be illegal, and the DA is working hard to, and I believe has seen those numbers to be finite and is pursuing the charges as such.
So I want to show that.
So poor woman, she's probably nervous as fuck on national TV. She's having a hard time kind of getting it out here.
It's something that is hard to put into words. It's the amount of power given to a president. I just think it's irresponsible and to give somebody who is self-serving and narcissistic that much power when it's inevitably always to benefit themselves. And, like with the compensation and gift taxes that I revealed the day before the election last year, I don't say anything that's not provable, and I wouldn't. The next...
I've been sitting on that story. I haven't read, because I read the news with you guys on the show. We've just had so much other shit to talk about. I think that's he's being sued or something. He's a congressperson. Is that the one I'm thinking of?
Phase of the DA's investigation is going to be a really hard look into the woman rink, and that's to come. But I have to say, Aaron, there's nothing going on that's a witch hunt or fishing expedition. That is not true. That is not true. They're guardians of the law. They're working hard, as I am, to tell the truth and to see justice prevailed and to have accountability for their own actions. It's no one's fault but their own. They need to be accountable for what they've done.
So she's saying that Weisselberg is going to flip on the Trump organization to save his own ass.
I want to let you have
Holy shit. Michael Cohen, Trump's former personal attorney, was on with, was this Joy Reid? And apparently he says that Trump's going to flip on everybody. Trump is going to, I'm interested to hear what he has to say, because who the fuck is, like, Trump's going to have Bill Barr and everybody else in jail to save his ass? Like, Trump is the ultimate get.
Opportunity to respond to Donald Trump's disparagement of you, if you care to.
Well, I really don't care to, simply because it's just typical. It's typical Donald. But I like his allegations against me. And considering, just look at who the guy is.
Well, I mean,
this is a guy who has an affair.
Well, look at who you are.
Multiple affairs while his wife had just had a child. Right, the Child Separation Act, which was just a disgrace and just denigrated America's standing in the world.
And this motherfucker stood by him until his ass was in the sling.
Affordable Care Act, leaving millions of Americans without health coverage.
He's
His
just as big of a piece of shit as Trump,
are,
if not more, because he's smarter than Trump. Michael Cohen is smarter than Trump.
George Floyd's name at any point in time, and finally, January 6th, the big lie, and his continuous promotion of the big lie. So I wear it as a badge of honor. So thank you for that, Donald. I appreciate it.
Clearly, you did care to. You did. Let's talk about the Trump Organization, because you know that organization well. I mean, because I think when people think of a company like a corporation, you think of a big corporation like Enron or one of these companies that gets in trouble. But this is like a mom and pop organization, right? It's basically Trump, the kids, and Alan Weisselberg. Do I have that wrong?
A mom and pop organization.
Yeah, it's bigger than that. But you're right.
More like a mob organization.
Mom and pop company. There's probably 14. When I was there were 14 executive vice presidents, myself being included. Other than that, you had a lot of support staff, a lot of secretarial staff, and so on. Now, at one point in time, Trump, which is, again, part of his ongoing continuous lies, made allegations that he employed 10,000 people. Well, that's not true, because, again, he doesn't own the buildings that he had employees in, right? It's either owned by homeowners associations or it's licensing deals, but he included them into it. So he included everybody. But you're right, Joy.
He lies about everything.
Mom and pop organization. But, for a quick second there, I just want to go back because, I think it's worth me saying when he's talking about my credibility. I personally think, and, I'll ask you your opinion on it, that my credibility is a lot more in demand than Trump's petty, pathetic temper tantrums, right, masquerading as strength, because that's what he does.
Yes, it's a shame that you've been rehabilitated, Michael Cohen. I would just like to point out you are still a piece of shit.
On Twitter, so I didn't even know about this denigration of me until your producers called to tell me about it. So he's really he's mic'd out right now.
You don't read blogs? Let's talk about the hiding of assets, because the reason I asked you about the size of the organization is that would mean presumably that someone like Alan Weisselberg and maybe even the Trump children, would they be in the
who is cooperating
valuation of these assets? Because you're talking about assets that Ivanka and Jared and the Trump sons are out there pitching and selling these licensing agreements for. Would they potentially have exposure here? Because I was asking in the previous segment, should they be getting their own lawyers?
Jared and Ivanka are going to jail too.
And one of the things, I have a very different opinion. I'm going to answer your question, but I have a little bit of a different opinion on this than most people. The answer is yes, they would know what the valuations are, specifically on project that they were designated to. Each of the children were designated to different properties, but Alan Weisselberg knew every single dollar in.
Couldn't happen to a nicer family.
To the penny. Every single penny in and every penny out went through Alan Weisselberg's desk and then reported before and after to Donald J. Trump. So there was as I stated, there was a very small core group of executives, a larger, subset, but a very small core group. Now, it's interesting because I also watched the segment before this where you were talking about, Trump and whether or not that the kids need to. I believe that they do need it, and I'm going to tell you why. Everyone keeps talking about, Rudy. What did we get off of his electronics? What are they going to get?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Rudy.
Organization. How are they going to get Weisselberg to flip? Are they going to go after, it's not just Barry, but it's also his other son, Jack, who is part of Ladder Capital. I think they already know this. I think Donald Trump is going to flip on all of them. What do you think about that, including his children? I really believe that Donald Trump is going to turn around.
Including his children, that he will flip on Jared, Ivanka, and Junior.
You always get shocked when I say things, Joy. I really believe that Donald Trump cares for only himself, and he realizes that his goose is cooked. So when he turns around and...
No. While Michael Cohen is right that Donald Trump only cares about himself, Donald Trump is the biggest fish. Donald Trump flipping doesn't, like, you flip in order to, like, give them somebody bigger. There is nobody bigger. That's the biggest catch. It makes no sense. Trump may want to flip on everybody, and he will, but prosecutors want to, like, well, we can't take legal action against Putin.
He gets questions about what you're just asking about, inflation.
Because any dirt on Putin, anything like that he exposes is just exposure to himself.
It's never Donald. See, this is the problem. It's never, ever Donald Trump. It's always somebody else. It wasn't Donald Trump who had the affair. It wasn't Donald Trump who directed me to make the payments to Stormy Daniels. It wasn't Donald Trump.
Stormy Daniels' fucking recollection of the event was that he, like, ordered pizza and talked about having tiny pizzas on top of pizzas. That cracked me the fuck up, and that's how I knew it was true. It sounded just like Donald Trump, that he's, like, sitting there naked with a porn star talking about, like, wouldn't it be cool if there were pizzas that had tiny pizzas on top of pizzas? Like a fucking chud. Oh, Jesus. So let's move on to the other Republican pervert, Matt Gaetz. See, do we have some
breaking news for you in our politics lead now. CNN has learned that federal prosecutors have secured a critical witness in their investigation into allegations of sex trafficking involving Florida Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz. The critical witness, his ex-girlfriend. The unnamed woman, a former Capitol Hill staffer, has been linked to Gaetz since 2017, and CNN's Paula Reed joins me now with the breaking details.
This is the woman that Gaetz took to dinner with Tucker Carlson. You know, when Gaetz was on Tucker's show, what, like a month ago now, when this shit broke? I think it was around like March 20-something. Gaetz goes on Tucker's show, says like, oh, I had dinner with a woman, you were there, you met her, and Tucker's like, I don't know what you're talking about. This is that woman. I mean, I don't know that for a fact. I do know that.
Jake, this woman is seen as a critical witness because she was linked to the congressman in the summer of 2017, and that time period is really critical in the investigation into whether he had sex with an underage girl. Investigators also hope that she can help them understand the relevance of these hundreds of transactions they have obtained records of, including those that are allegedly payments for sex. Now, at this point, it's not clear whether she has a formal cooperation agreement. An attorney for the ex-girlfriend declined to comment, as did a spokesman for the Justice Department. But CNN has also learned that Gaetz's former close friend has told investigators that the lawmaker had sexual contact with a 17-year-old girl. Now, earlier this week, that friend, a Florida tax collector, Joel Greenberg,
there's you, a mugshot of Greenberg.
Charges including sex trafficking involving a minor. Now, he's cooperating with federal investigators in exchange for dozens of other counts being dropped. And as part of this deal, he is required to cooperate fully in any other federal investigations, including the ongoing investigation into Congressman Gaetz.
Yes, what the fuck was going on with Nestor? We may never, I hope we find out. Matt Gaetz adopted just this male Cuban boy or some shit? Puerto Rican? I think he was Cuban. Said that it was his daughter's son. Said that it was his sister's son. There we go. Like, there is so much weird shit going on with Matt Gaetz.
It's looking at whether he has violated federal sex trafficking, prostitution, or public
If you're
corruption
listening to the
laws,
podcast,
and
I just
whether
took
he
a giant
had
bong
sex with a
rip before
minor.
trying to
Now, in his
remember
plea
what the
agreement,
fuck
Greenberg admits
was
that
the
he
deal
had
with
sex
Nestor.
with the minor at least 7 times, and that he introduced her to other men who engaged in commercial sex acts with her, but those other men are not named. Now, Gates has repeatedly denied that he ever had sex with a minor or paid for sex, and Gates and his representatives have attacked Greenberg's credibility in recent days.
Yeah, he had
correctly
fucking
pointing out
games
the fact
where
that
he like
Greenberg
assigned points
admitted
to people.
in this plea agreement that he has previously falsely accused a political rival of having sex with a minor.
Yeah, important to underline that Gates denies all of this. Paula, any idea when any charges could be filed, if at all?
Great question, Jake.
That decision will ultimately fall to prosecutors in the public integrity section of the Justice Department, and that decision is expected to take some time. We know that they're still gathering evidence, and they will then have to assess everything they've gathered to decide whether they have enough for an indictment and to bring charges.
Any fucking day now, I would assume. Speaking of charges, today, Kyle Rittenhouse made his first appearance in court. The November trial of Kyle Rittenhouse, an Illinois man charged with killing 2 people during chaotic protests that followed the police shooting of Jacob Blake in Wisconsin last year, will take up to 2 weeks, attorneys said today. Narcissists do suck. And yet Gates is totally a narcissist. I have several narcissistic traits. I try to keep them in check. Being self-aware helps with that kind of shit. Prosecutors and Rittenhouse's attorneys confirmed with Kenosha County Circuit Judge Bruce Schroeder during a 10-minute status conference that the trial will begin November the 1st. Both sides said they don't expect the proceedings to last the full 2 weeks. A sign of the intense publicity surrounding the case, they also told the judge they plan to send out questionnaires to prospective jurors to ask them about their backgrounds and beliefs. Questionnaires can help attorneys decide whom to strike from the pool. Attorneys in the trial of a white former police officer who was convicted of killing George Floyd in Minneapolis used such. His name was Derek Chauvin, and he was convicted. Rittenhouse appeared in person in the courtroom for the first time since he was arrested last year. The 19 protocols have forced him to appear via video at previous meetings. Those restrictions have been lifted. All right, so in New Orleans, we have multiple body camera releases. Beaten and shackled by Louisiana state troopers. Black motorist. By the way, before we get started with this, content warning fuckers. Black motorist Ronald Green desperately tried to roll over in what may have been a struggle to breathe, but was ordered to stay on his belly according to body camera video newly obtained by the Associated Press. And the long secret autopsy report, also newly secured, cited Green's head injuries and the way he was restrained as factors in his 2019 death. So absolute incriminating evidence that cops have been sitting on for at least 2 years. Holy shit. This is the first body camera.
Hello. Hey.
Hi.
All right, we may be 10-2, I don't know.
Why's that?
Well, this guy was drunk, and I think he was wet.
Yeah.
And I beat the ever-living fuck out of him, choked him and everything else trying to get him under control. And we finally got him in handcuffs when a third man got there. And the son of a bitch was still fighting, and we were still wrestling with him, trying to hold him down because he was spitting blood everywhere.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he just went limp. Damn. Yeah, I thought
You killed him.
We set him up real quick. He's on the ambulance en route to Glenwood, and I'm hauling ass trying to catch up to him.
You think
Y'all got it on body cam?
Holy, do you think you got it on body cam? Click. There are no good cops. There are no good cops. Well, we're just watching the videos as we're going along here. So this is another body camera footage.
Hey, sir, don't you turn over. All right. Don't you turn over. You lay on your belly. Lay on your belly.
He's handcuffed. He's on the ground.
Okay, sir. Lay on your fucking belly. I got told you to. You understand? Yes, sir.
He's clearly exasperated, gasping for air. There's a picture of Green. ACAB. Rock on.
Okay. All right, Lord.
So he's pointing. He's pointing at his body camera. Maybe not. Maybe I'm reading too much into that. At one point, after medical help arrives, a paramedic is heard saying he's not getting enough air. Yet nobody appears to be giving him oxygen. Louisiana officials had for 2 years rebuffed repeated calls to release footage and details about what caused Green's death after the chase, which began over an unspecified traffic violation, which means it was just bullshit. They were pulling him over just to harass him. Broken tail light, fucking license plate light out, whatever the fuck. Troopers initially told his family he died on impact after crashing into a tree. Oh my god, so they lied immediately. As I say, I've worked in the media business for 20 years, mostly doing news. I've read a gazillion police reports. Not a one of them has ever matched what actually happened. Even when cops have no reason to, they still lie. State police later released a brief statement acknowledging only that Green struggled with troopers and died on his way to the hospital. That secrecy extended to the autopsy, which pathologists said was hindered by the state police's failure to provide even the most routine documents relating to Green's arrest, including police reports, collision details, or emergency medical records. A former Boca Raton, Florida police chief who testifies as an expert use of force witness said Green's case is an example of how stonewalling is the Achilles heel of law enforcement. No, being shit fucking officers is the Achilles heel of law enforcement. Outrageous. I assume there are protests going on in New Orleans. Sparkles is there right now. I need to ask. So this is footage released a few days ago out of Tennessee. Simply appalling.
But the jailers he struggled against taunted him right up until his death. An exclusive News Channel 5 investigation is raising questions about the way William Jeanette died.
Our investigative reporter Ben Hall obtained exclusive video, and we do need to warn you, parts are disturbing.
Well, you know what that means. Content warning, fuckers.
3 Marshall County jailers called for police backup in May of last year after William Jeanette refused to get into a restraint chair.
Where are you?
When Lewisburg police officer Christopher Stallings runs into the room, Jeanette yells that corrections officers are trying to kill him.
Help me, they're killing me!
They quickly get Jeanette to the floor.
Help, they're trying to kill me.
Minutes later.
You know, right before he dies.
It just breaks my heart because he was someone worth knowing, you know?
His daughter, Dominique Jeanette, says her 48-year-old father was terrified and desperately needed help.
And that's just something that really sticks with me, of how scared he must have been and how alone he must have felt.
Jail logs show Jeanette had been hallucinating and detoxing after being arrested 2 days earlier for resisting arrest, public intoxication, and indecent exposure. Officers had put him in a restraint chair the day before.
So he needed
because he was
care.
hitting his head on the cell wall.
He
But
needed
eventually,
care.
Officers tried again. As you see on these jail cameras with no sound, things escalated quickly.
They
Well, because
should
he
have been
just
more
grabbed him.
They should have been trained properly, and they weren't.
Dominique is suing Marshall County and the Lewisburg Police Department because of what
As
happened
well she
after
should.
her father was on the ground.
Stay down, you stupid son of a...
With other officers now around him, Jeanette is face down on the floor in handcuffs.
Get up! Get up!
Despite his screams, officers put pressure on his back and then call for leg restraints.
Go get your leg restraints. Before you do anything else, get leg restraints.
Seconds later, Jeanette says for the first time that he can't breathe. Listen to what a female officer says back to him. Officers stay on his back and even bend his legs to his back until finally one officer says, "Be careful of suffocating him."
Hey, easy, easy.
Be careful of suffocating him.
Got it.
As he's gurgling.
That's why I'm not on his...
Fuck.
Let him breathe.
Jeanette's last words are, "I'm good." But an officer with his knee on Jeanette's back.
Remember, this man was accused of public intoxication. Indecent exposure. Like what, he was pissing in a fucking alley or something. It's one thing if he's shaking his dick at a woman in a club or some shit. But I'm assuming he was just belligerent, maybe his pants fell down or something. I hate cops. Law enforcement attracts sociopaths and psychopaths. I'm sorry. And our policies do not help. We weed out good cops and we reward bad cops through our policies. It's clear. Also neo-Nazis, which the Venn diagram, there's a lot of overlap there, right?
Talked back to him.
Oh, you ain't good. You gonna lay right there for a minute.
That's the exact opposite of what this generally accepted police training has taught officers to do.
And this man just needed help. He was just an addict with a problem. He committed no actual fucking crime.
Written a book evaluating police uses of force.
When the handcuffs come on, they should have rotated.
He needed to be treated with compassion.
He was disturbed by what he saw and said police departments have been trained since the mid-90s about the dangers of positional asphyxiation, suffocating someone by sitting on their back.
And the fact that he says it, the fact that he says asphyxiation on the fucking video just shows that he knows what's going on. Murder charges.
Called the prone position.
There's approximately a 3-minute and 43-second period after officers have applied handcuffs where they keep the individual in the prone position, and that's not acceptable.
Like, all that he wanted was help, and all that he got was hate. Like, it's not right.
Jeanette's daughters remember him as a father of 5 who drove a cement truck to support
the Invincible Punisher.
He'd been arrested before, but did not have a long rap sheet.
There were so many people that could have just said, this isn't right.
He'd been arrested for
no
PI or
one
some
said
shit.
This wasn't right.
The autopsy lists the cause of death as acute combined drug intoxication with meth in his system. But it also listed asphyxia as a contributory cause of death and ruled it a homicide.
It just feels like my heart is constantly...
Where's the criminal charges? This woman is suing.
There's no peace to that.
This family hopes other departments learned from what happened to their dad.
He's not there, like, to take me home anymore.
A grand jury looked at this case but decided not to bring criminal charges against the officers. We asked the sheriff and the attorney for the county for a comment, but they declined.
Well, I can tell you exactly what happened. It's the same thing that happened in the Breonna Taylor case. When they presented it to the grand jury, they bullshitted the grand jury and told them shit that wasn't true, left out details. They framed it in a way that absolved these pigs of responsibility. Jesus. So now, I missed this one a couple of weeks ago, but we got to talk about this one as well. I don't even know when this happened in Lewisburg, Tennessee. May 6th of last year. So, just about a year ago was when this poor guy died in Madison County Jail. What those cops did from the moment they grabbed him by the arm was far worse than anything he had been accused of. Public intoxication? Indecent exposure? Come the fuck on. The assault was far worse. Those cops are criminals, not the man they had in shackles, and that pisses me off. Oh, by the way, this is a funny story the other day. I was arguing with some people in the comment section and said that cops in this country killed 940 people at least last year. A woman responded back and said, okay, now do how many killings there were of cops. And I said, okay, I bet you weren't expecting me to know the number right off the top of my head. I believe it was 43. Now I'm a stoner. I might be off. It might have been like 47 or something. It was 40 something, and over half of them were in car crashes. Cops murdered over 940 people in this country. That is more than every first world country over the last 20 years combined. I'm not high enough for this shit. Braid Creed has known me for fucking 20 years, and he knows for a fact that he wants to get me riled up. He likes that shit. We play video games, and he does his best to fucking get me going like this and going off on other people that we're in like fucking voice chat with. That's what right-wingers come in here and tell me to calm down all the time, relax and shit. I'm like, that's what the people come for me to do the rants. Digging in Tennessee or maybe in Virginia. I don't know which side of the line it's on. This was in Bristol. Okay, Bristol, Virginia, not Tennessee.
A Bristol, Virginia police officer who was charged with murder after shooting and killing a man is now being sued by the victim's family. It happened on March 30th at the intersection of Euclid Avenue and Gate City Highway. Charges against Officer Brown were announced in early May, and a lawsuit was...
I think that is, we played the video of this. It's like the car was trying to get away, and they accused the suspect of trying to ram them with the car.
Filed against him.
It just straight up murdered him.
Attorney Timothy Hudson filed the lawsuit in the U.S. District Court in Abingdon on behalf of Ashley Kohler, the administrator of the estate of Jonathan Blake Kohler, the man who died.
I didn't realize you were British.
We've reached out to Hudson and the family regarding the lawsuit, and they have yet to
Thank you for joining in on the show.
matter.
As much as you do for a British person, as I cover American politics. Now, update on the Kim Potter, the officer that the city of Minneapolis paid to fortify her home after she murdered somebody. I still can't get over that. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison announced today that his office will lead the prosecution for former Brooklyn Center officer Kim Potter, who was charged with second-degree manslaughter in the fatal shooting of Dante Wright. Ellison's office led the case against former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, was found guilty of murder and manslaughter in the death of George Floyd. So, Miss Potter, I hope you are feeling safe in your home tonight. To know that the very apt Mr. Ellison's office will be taking over the prosecution of your case. Ellison stated he did not seek this prosecution and does not accept it lightly. Dante Wright's death was a tragedy. He should not have died on the day that he did. He should not have died the way that he did. Parents, brothers, sisters, and friends must now live the rest of their lives without him. His son, only 2 years old, must grow up without a father. Oh, bravo. Keith Ellison is a badass. I miss him in Congress, but goddamn, do we need more people like this in state AG's offices, in DA's offices. Now, the rest of the show is going to be a lot more uplifting. Are you talking about the McCloskeys? The one that pulled the gun on the protesters. We watched his ad last night or night before last, where he put on like a pristine plaid shirt. Yes, fuck the McCloskeys. Of the Heritage Foundation picks, yes. Unfortunately with the courts, a lot of those appointments at the, like, especially the federal level, they're lifetime appointments. We'd have to reform something. We'd have to put term limits, a year limit or something on service. I don't fucking know. I'm sure you would, Breed Creed. There are many people out there who would love to pull a gun on me. I get so many death threats. Oh shit, hold on. Let me show you guys. It's not a death threat, but fuck is it hilarious. This is a message I received yesterday. Fucking ass fucking moron. Clearly, he did not employ commas, so I don't know if he meant that I'm an ass fucking moron, that I like to fuck ass, which, who doesn't, right? Or if I'm a fucking ass and a fucking moron, as like a conjunction there. Oh, when I post shit on Facebook, I have to look like I made an attempt to block out their identity. That's why there's a line through the name, and why, like, that's actually my drawing on it. A man of culture for I'm Ollie Davis. I quit watching Wrestle Talk when they got Adam Blampier. I'm sorry. I'm a What Culture subscriber. That's where I get my wrestling news from. I'm not saying you should get your wrestling news from. I prefer the personalities on What Culture. I am not a fan of Blampier. And Ollie started to kind of piss me off too, so. He got really annoying, and like when you start doing these cutaways, almost like Family Guy bits before you ever get to your fucking news. Oh man, I'm not there with you. I don't like their skits. You would like Blampier. I'm not gonna knock somebody for getting hair implants. I might one day get hair implants. I mean, we've gone over this on the show before. I think I've taken off my bandana. I'm not exactly the hairiest person here. I'm not opposed to getting hair implants. I'm not embarrassed by, like, I actually look really cool when I slick it back and I have it in a ponytail and shit. I'm not really embarrassed by it or anything, but like I would get hair implants. I've also thought about just shaving it off and wearing different wigs all the time. I'm a pretty big fan of Maynard James Keenan and all of his bands, and he likes to wear different wigs and mohawks and shit. And I'm like, I think I might pull that look off. The only reason I've not already shaved my hair is because I've already made all the cartoon characters for the FREAKIN news, all my promotional shit, everything. I have long hair and a bandana. It would be a lot of work to redo all that shit, so I'm gonna rock the bandana. And also, I really like my hair. And I'm completely off topic here. I actually cut 2 inches, about 2 inches off of my hair. Nobody has said a word. I guess nobody has noticed because it was that goddamn long. But like I noticed, I watched it this morning. I'm like, fuck, it's a lot shorter than what it was. It needed it though. It really needed that 2.5 maybe inches. But it is a lot shorter. I do not like WrestleMania at all. Don't even get me started. That dude pisses me off. I would punch the TV if that shit came up. I think I have it blocked to where like YouTube won't even show me anything from that channel. That dude just pisses me off so much. He reminds me of like the Angry Gamer review guy, and I don't like him either. It may be the same fucking guy. I'm sorry, I'm really particular about my YouTube. Now I like wrestling bios, and like like his shit looks a little amateur for me, but like, or like especially like his voiceover, his audio quality is not very good. But man, he does his research. Oh, it's not the same guy. Okay, they kind of look alike though. You give me that, right? They have a little bit of like the same shtick. Well, I really don't know because I don't watch them enough. Watch Nitro when ICP was in WWE. Did I watch Raw when ICP? We were talking about ICP earlier. I shared out a meme about ICP. Yeah. Got it here. I casually mentioned that I don't know how fucking magnets work. Media Witch chimed in and was like, hey, like, ICP is based. They have done several base things. They like to punch Nazis. Apparently one of them like made some like gay jokes or something, and his daughter corrected him, or his son, or something like, I can't remember what the story was. And he like came out in a pot like, oh, I see how like what I said was harmful and I didn't mean to do that. So like ICP are cool, and like I've even got some songs I like. Fucking, and Brig Creed was the one that turned me on to I'm gonna be down with the clown till I'm dead in the ground. That's a badass song. The Magnet song though, holy shit. So I was philosophy class in college. It's like Science in the Modern World was the name of the class. Fantastic professor I had. He was like a professor of existential philosophy and shit. But he was super fucking cool. And one day it came in on the board, they had he had the lyrics to the Magnet song up on the board. That's the first time I'd ever like even heard the Magnets thing. And like I saw the lyrics and it even said, Insane Clown Posse under it. I'm like, fuck, that's a brilliant lyric. Like, holy shit, like what a profound statement, until I actually listened to the song and realized that they were Christian and that they were like, no, how do magnets work? You can't explain it without God. And I'm like, oh shit, fuck. So then I became like really anti-ICP again. But they've been based here lately. They do a lot of cool shit. They're good guys. I'm okay with ICP. I'm down with the clowns. They're cool in my book. And even the stories of them interacting with wrestlers, like where they where they owed money for the I don't remember exactly what the story was. They owed Mick Foley some money for an appearance he made on there. Like, they gladly just fucking handed over the money to him. Like, here, yes, we owe it. They respect the wrestling business, so cool on ICP. I don't know that I've ever drank Faygo though. Have you had Faygo? Anybody ever like drank Faygo before? Is it available just anywhere? Can I go get some in a supermarket? Or is it in a specific region of the country? All right, so it ain't bad. It always seemed like it was like a step down, which I'm not a soda drinker. Oh, that would explain why I wouldn't know much about soda. Oh God, Family Dollar. I went into a family. That was the first place I went after the pandemic. When I went outside for the first time, I went to a Family Dollar. And I'm like, nope, I ain't doing that again. We're gonna stay in our house until the pandemic ends. It was not a fun experience. I did not feel safe in the Family Dollar because the woman that was working the register, now she was behind the plexiglass, had her mask around her neck and was just like, like she almost certainly had fucking COVID. Just coughing all over everything. Probably coughed all over my, whatever the fuck I bought. I was not happy. The Fiend face mask isn't bad. Like I'm not that big on the Fiend. I watched the pay-per-view the other night. I fell asleep during the Drew McIntyre, Braun Strowman. I'm glad I woke up just in time. I feel like fucking Cesaro's entrance was happening. I still have my rated R chain from like circa 2008, 2009. It broke. I have to fix it. I have to fix the clasp on it, but I still have the actual chain. So I was cleaning out my closet one day, and I'm like, fuck, I have a lot of Edge shit. I was a really big Edge fan. Like when he was on that heel run. It may be. All right. Let's get back. We've got some uplifting stories to end the night. We played the video of the young girl that fought off the would-be kidnapper yesterday, I believe it was. So she actually spoke to, I think this is the Today Show? It is the Today Show.
We wanted to know more about how, in the heat of the moment, as she was fighting off her kidnapper, she had the presence of mind to take the blue slime she was playing with and rub it on her attacker, helping deputies later identify him.
The suspect, when we caught him, had blue slime all over his own arms.
How is it that you knew to put some blue slime on that guy?
From watching Law and Order.
So we have a little surprise for you here. You know,
so did they specifically say Law and Order, or did they just say to mark him with something like mark a would-be attacker?
I'm so incredibly honored to
cool.
meet you. First of all, how you doing, and are you okay?
I'm good.
I just want to tell you how blown away me and all of my squad are, and I think the whole world right now, that you had the forethought and the wherewithal to do what you did. I am just blown away.
On her favorite TV show, the SVU detectives are doggedly looking for physical evidence that connects a suspect to the crime, solving the twists and turns of police investigations.
I see.
Detectives Benson and Stabler, Special Victims Unit.
The hallmark of the show for the past 22 years.
Here's the script that I signed for you, and I hope you can read.
Oh, that's awesome!
It says, you are my hero.
I had my signed.
You're amazing, sweetheart. You're amazing.
I have my signed Seinfeld script from Larry David still. I fucking love that thing. So that's cool that they sent her a script.
Is that you're okay, and that is the most beautiful gift that we all have.
It's amazing to meet you.
Oh,
I never thought my whole entire life that I was going to be able to even meet you.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way.
Oh,
Mariska, what would Captain Olivia Benson say to our junior detective here?
Would you like to be on my squad?
Alyssa, tell me, what are you going to watch on TV tonight?
Law and Order. Yay.
Excellent. That was a fantastic story. Hopefully I got something better to end on. Oh, okay. Yeah. We got the perfect story. All right, this one is an update on the story we did, 3 or 4 weeks ago. In South Carolina, there was a school bus hijacking by a soldier. This is the school bus driver. I think we're also going to see footage from inside the school bus. Fuck. Hold on, I gotta find the volume on it. Okay, there we go. There's the full screen. There's the volume. Here we go.
Kept his cool during an armed hijacking, helping all 18 children on board.
This is the first time I'm seeing this footage.
Speak with Kenneth Corbin. There he is. Going to speak to him live in just a moment.
Motherfucker had an assault rifle right in his face. Damn.
This was the heart-stopping moment an Army trainee used a rifle to hijack a South Carolina school bus with 18 children inside earlier this month. Bus driver Kenneth Corbin keeping his cool and the children safe for 6 painstaking minutes. 10-year-old Keandre James was one of the students on board.
I called my dad, and so I was telling him that I was being held hostage.
The gunman eventually letting Corbin and the children get out to safety. Police identifying the gunman as 23-year-old Jovan Collazo. This morning, he remains in custody, facing 24 charges, including 19 counts of kidnapping. A veteran school bus driver, Corbin had recently completed annual training about what to do if a bus is taken hostage.
You can see here how calm he was, how controlled he was, and how his training.
I think law enforcement recommends that you always go along with somebody who is hijacking you, kidnapping you, something like that. Don't try to fight back. Because if they're keeping you alive, they have some sort of motive.
Good use.
State officials honoring Corbin Friday for being a hero under extreme pressure. For Good Morning America, Janae Norman, ABC News, New York.
Our thanks to Janae, and joining us now
we're going to get to hear from him.
Corbin. Good morning, Mr. Corbin.
This is a motherfucking hero.
And you heard Janae just referred.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir. Janae just referred to you as a hero. Others have said that about you as well, but you say
well, goddamn right he's a hero.
Should go to the students on board. Why do you feel that way?
Aw.
Well, actually, when at the very end, the kids were the one that actually got the gentleman off of the bus, and they pretty much had my back as much as my concern were with them. And at the end, when they start questioning him, it seemed to have frustrated him because his main objective were to get to the next town. But in the end, I think we only rode about 4 miles, and he just got frustrated with the questions and just told me to stop the bus and just get off. All y'all get off. And that was about it.
So it was the interaction.
The kids were so annoying.
With the students that was frustrating him.
Well, yes. As we were traveling, I guess he realized there were several students, at the rear of the bus and kind of scattered throughout the bus, and he decided to move all the students up front. So he got, I guess, to keep us all in close proximity. And when he did that, especially some of my kindergartens, they started asking him questions as to,
are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there?
And he answered, well, it seemed like he hesitantly answered, but he said, yes, I'm a soldier. And then they wanted to know why. They asked him, why are you doing this? And he never did have an answer for that one. Then they asked, where was he going to hurt them? He said no. And then they asked, was they going to hurt our bus driver? And he said no. All I'm going to do is take y'all and just put you off the bus. And from that point, it seemed like he sensed more questions coming, and it seemed like I guess something clicked on his mind and said, enough already, and he just told me,
fuck these kids.
Y'all stop the bus right here and just get off.
Well, I don't know.
That was pretty much the point.
I'm
assuming he snapped while he was like in basic training or something, right? I don't remember what the fucking story was. Because I don't think he was an actual soldier yet. I think he was in boot camp or some shit, and like it snapped him.
Bring your account like that. What
He's
was
like,
going
I can't
through
take these
your mind,
kids
sir, when all this was happening?
Well, when it first happened, I realized that, you know, he had a weapon when he presented the weapon. Pretty much after I told him, well, when he was coming up the steps, our first thing to tell an adult was kind of push our hands out and tell them that, you know, they're not allowed on the bus. And I had to tell him that twice. And when I told him that twice, that's when he presented his weapon and told me to close the door and move and drive. And from that point on, it was just a matter of just staying calm and following his instructions and thinking about the kids, because I didn't want to do anything that would, that would rile him to cause him to do something that, would bring harm to my kids.
Yes, sir.
And his main objective was to get to the next town. He asked me how far was the next town, and just pretty much told him 15 to 20 miles, and seemed like about every 500 feet or less, he wanted to know how far to go, how much farther. And
so it was a dude that was saying, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?"
A traffic light, and he asked me to speed up, or told me to speed up, and don't let the red light catch me. And we got through that light, and that's when he moved. Shortly after that, he moved the kids up front. And then he wanted to know again how far, and all I could say was 15 to 20 miles, because we hadn't really gone that far. And then he wanted to know where the next town was, and so I told him we're gonna have to go to Kershaw County, and we was headed that way, Highway 12 in Columbia. But I
hope those kids didn't have to go to school that day.
And in the end, we may have gone 4 miles before we got off the bus. Yes.
Well, I'm glad that everybody was safe and sound. And before we go,
fuck yeah. So, uplifting story. And then to end tonight, I don't know, this one might be a little creepy depending on how you look at it. But you know my love of cats. Shop cats stare at their owner through a fitted glass ceiling all day long, and like, they're kind of freaky. I don't know if I like it. Like, it's weird. My friend modified his attic of his shop to accommodate his cats. Now he is under constant observation. Yeah, I don't know if I could do it. See, look at that dude. He looks judgmental. Can you imagine, like, I'm laying on the couch, like, jacking off or something, and the cat's looking down at me, judging me. I couldn't do it. That's his security guards, apparently. They mean business. This is what happens when they don't get their food on time. Try to take over the world. Oh my God, see, look, and they're all squished and shit. Look at a cat, like, it looks weird with its feet squished and its belly, like, squished like that. Oh shit, here's Smokey. You want to come over and see the cats? I actually think we have some video. It probably has some music under it. Some music where we want to watch the video of the cats. They're adorable. I mean, they like being up high and they like looking down on shit, so I'm sure the cats are into it. The cats really enjoy the glass bottom boat rods they're taking right here. Only the wrestling podcast fans will get that one. See, look at how like smushed he is. It's weird looking to me. I couldn't take it. But it's cute as shit. This one's like sucking its titty right now. Bogey, what you got going on? All right, I don't think I've ever dumped you guys in non-compete, but that's going just because we're gonna see what they're all about. See what they're all about. So, if you were on Twitter, oh shit. Sending you guys over to non-compete. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin. We will see you tomorrow night. No, it's the fucking weekend. We'll see you Monday night on the Troll Patrol live.